From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, welcome into The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Max, of course, at my bar, where everyone has a chance to take a seat and tell their story. Major Harding is back. That must mean it's Biz Champions time. Brought to you by our good friends at Terrell Hogan. This time around, we are going to talk speech pathology. I mean, you never know what's going to show up at the bar, and it's awesome. Always an awesome time. Let's say hello to the panel. Major Harding is back. Hey, Major,
Tom.
how are you?
I'm great. How
Life
are you?
treating you well?
It is.
You're doing good?
Just took a trip last week to Savannah with 30 of our travel group.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So nice. Perfect weather.
Yeah.
It was in the 80s with a nice breeze blowing all week. So, yeah.
Every time I'm
good.
there, it's like you think of the history, like you see the ports, you're like, man, it must have been wild.
It's an
back
awesome
in the
place
day.
to spend
Yeah.
We spent 5 days there.
Yeah, it's a great spot. Well, great to have you on the
Good to be
show.
back.
Theresa Richard is here from the Med SLP Collective, our speech pathologist.
Yes.
And you specialize in swallowing disorders.
Correct.
Wow. So like a lot of stroke patients, how about trauma? Like trauma?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
What, I'm saying the off air, it probably sounds so stupid, but I am just a bartender, but I just couldn't imagine not like being able to swallow. Like it,
Yeah.
But that's a really big issue for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's been your background for a while.
Yep.
Getting your PhD.
Yep.
Smart kid right here, Major.
tell
Smart.
you.
That's what they say in Boston. They're smart. Well, that's great. How did you get into the speech pathology? Take us back.
Yeah, so I have a brother actually that has cerebral palsy that is nonverbal, so
Okay.
he used a speech device to communicate.
Okay.
And so I got into speech pathology, and just part of our scope of practice is working with patients with swallowing disorders.
Okay.
And I just realized we're able to do it. It's within our scope of practice, but there just really isn't many clinicians out there that are actually doing it. And
Okay.
I just thought, like, what is more profound? Like, what is more of such a high quality of life thing as swallowing, right?
Yeah,
Is eating,
yeah.
drinking, going
Right.
to a bar,
Yeah.
having,
Everything. So-
meals, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all these things. And I just realized, like, this is such a powerful thing that can be taken away from people. And so I
Right.
really wanted to dive into learning more about how do we help people? How do we fix these things?
Is it muscle memory? I mean,
Yeah,
is it the
there's-
tongue? Is
there's-
it a little bit of
the
combination?
tongue's part of it too. Yeah, there's 40 different muscles between the tongue and the esophagus that
Really?
control the swallow.
40?
Yes.
Learn something new every
You
day.
do, you do.
40 different
Yeah.
muscles. So is it triggering the brain to the muscles? So you just got to redo it all?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's like traditional therapy, right? Like you
Right.
think of physical therapists help patients learn to walk again. We help patients learn to swallow again.
Wow. I couldn't
Yeah.
even imagine how you even start
I
that.
couldn't even start going down that
Yeah.
path, but
Yeah.
it's my daughter's a speech
Yeah.
pathologist, and she deals with children with developmental issues and stuff.
Right.
And part of that is learning how to swallow, learning how to, learning how to talk, the basics.
Yep.
So we have a connection.
Yeah, does chewing, is that a part of it?
Yep,
Does
that
they have
is part
trouble
of it.
chewing as well?
Yep,
So it's
yep.
all connected.
Yep.
Do you have to like start from, like break it all down, like just build until
Yep.
they eventually get comfortable enough to do it? It's secondhand nature?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we start with a lot of patients on feeding tubes. Especially during COVID, it sort of
Oh, that-
skyrocketed patients on vents and trachs from COVID, and
Right.
then they might be on feeding tubes, and so we'll just start with ice chips or just sips of water just
Okay.
to get the muscles working again.
Okay.
Before you can progress to
Right.
eating Thanksgiving
That
dinner.
makes sense. Now, are you ever involved in, I don't know, do other doctors or professionals call you to, your expertise help out or whatnot to get those kind of things as well?
Yeah. We work closely with like ENTs and GI doctors because sometimes, ENTs will do surgery on the voice box or GIs will do surgeries on the esophagus, and that can all get messed up. And,
Okay.
patients with head and neck cancer. So we do work closely with a lot of different medical doctors and also different surgeons.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about with, do eating disorders get into that at all? Like, can there be problems
they
with
do,
that?
Yeah. So I actually wrote a book. It's called So You're Having Trouble Swallowing.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I do
nice.
talk about
Okay.
that too, because especially people with eating disorders, especially if they have
Bulimic,
bulimia,
right? Yeah, right.
and then the acid can erode the esophagus, and
Okay.
there can be psychological factors of not wanting to eat again.
Right,
so
right.
then we work closely with psychologists too
Right.
to help.
All right, let me ask you this. So my mother's 93. My mother's 93, and
Yeah.
I know you like working with the older folk.
I do.
She doesn't like drinking water because she just go to the bathroom all the
Yeah.
time. And then you know what happens with that when you're not drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Right? Could that eventually lead to where, like you forget how to Like, is it a problem? You know, does that factor in at all?
There's probably a lot going on if she's at that age.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she can be dehydrated, and then just
No,
dehydration comes
right.
with a whole host of other issues. I mean, it would be hard to tell without knowing what else she has.
That was kind of an odd question anyway. But
okay.
what's the process to getting someone back? What's the time? I know it's case by case, but
I mean, it really it depends on sort of what happened in the first place, like if there needs to be surgical intervention, or sometimes, you know, not that they would heal naturally, but just as the nerves learn to rewire. So,
Right.
I mean, it might be anywhere from a couple months to, you know, there's some rehab programs that maybe only take 2 to 3 weeks of really intensive therapy, but usually about a few month process. But, you know, we do have some patients that, like, these are the patients that I love, are patients that have been on feeding tubes for like 10 years.
Wow.
And just never knew that there was rehab to getting back. They just thought they were sentenced to this, you know, life sentence of being on a feeding tube.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you get them back to living a normal life with eating and drinking.
Yep.
That's fantastic. All right, so you have your undergrad, you have your master's, now you're going for your PhD.
I am.
What does the PhD do for someone like you and your profession?
Yeah, so I want to research more about swallowing disorders.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to know, you know, how have we gotten here, and I really have a passion for sort of the public health aspect of it too. And I think swallowing disorders cost for something like $8 billion in healthcare dollars, because it can contribute to pneumonia, dehydration, malnutrition, all of these conditions that patients are hospitalized for.
Wow.
So I'm really passionate about learning more about
Good
that.
for you, doing the good Lord's work, man.
Yes.
That's
Amen.
awesome. I love it. Hey, not everyone can do it, you know, and you're probably our first here at the bar, so that's pretty darn cool.
Yes.
Well, how can people find you if you want them to?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Theresa Richard SLP. I'm
Okay.
also on LinkedIn and Facebook there as well.
Okay, so if anybody has any issues out there, make sure they check you out. And
I have a
maybe
book,
you can help
so you're
them.
having trouble swallowing.
So
I also
you
have a
have-
YouTube channel as well. So
All right. What's your YouTube channel?
Theresa Richard SLP.
All right. Beautiful. Thanks for being here.
Thank you,
really
sir.
great work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Major, you're the man. You never know who's going to show up at my bar, and I absolutely love it. When I say everybody's welcome, I mean everybody is welcome. There's no doubt about that. Make sure you check out Theresa and Major Harding's profile. You'll see it at the dailynewsnetwork.com website. You'll see this conversation and hundreds of others. I love doing this show. Until next time, stay safe out there, man, and be cool. And we'll see you right here on The Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
Darrell Hogan Law is a collection of lawyers that help people solve problems in areas of life they're not able to solve them themselves.
We are not individuals. We are purely a team. We work together for all of our clients.
We have the resources to win your case and win it to such a degree that you're going to be very happy with the results.